We are here with Simone Thomas, a woman whose story is a powerful blend of perseverance, passion, and profound impact on the lives of Black women and naturally textured hair. Simone, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be talking to you today.
Thank you so much, Delucia. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the invitation.
I think there's so much to touch on because your life has really been dedicated to celebrating other people, but also yourself. In that way, I think it started with you and your own journey. Let's talk a little bit about your upbringing. I know you were raised by a single mom in Mitchell's Plain. What do you think that had on you, that impact that had on you in growing up and kind of with your hair, especially growing up in a household and, you know, trying to figure out who you are as a person through hair?
I think if I remember growing up in Mitchell's Plain, I mean, there's one thing that could not have been different is the story of your hair and doing your hair, and so much emphasis being placed on your hair, that your hair needed to be straight, so much investment in your hair. So a lot of times, you know, over weekends, it was spent on doing your hair.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't have any time to actually celebrate it. You didn't have any time to actually wear the hair because you were so afraid that it would go, you know, frizz, or, you know, like we call it on the Cape Flats, your hair is going to mince or something like that. So you couldn't even wear it out. And immediately once it was done, it needed to be wrapped. It needed to be put in the swirl
I was going to say the swirl coat.
The swirl coat, you had to put it in the swirl coat. And I think that made me to believe that I had to spend so much time, effort, and then hide it. And it was really this thing of suffering for beauty.
Yes, absolutely.
That rang absolutely true. And that was part of it. But I mean, Mitchell's Plain, notorious, gangsterism, drug abuse, a lot of socio-economic problems and challenges that you grew up with and thinking, oh, but this is normal. And actually, it wasn't normal. It's not normal.
I think what I love that you touched on is the swirl coats. And I say that because I'm from a colored household as well, but all my cousins have different texture hair. So you know the first one who goes the fastest, which is me. I have very straight hair, my hair does not curl. But then I have my sister who's got very, very curly hair. Always worried about the mincing. To this day, she wears a bonnet to bed. Like we've evolved in that way. But I think when it comes to hair, it's such an identity, especially for Black and African women. It was part of the transatlantic slave change, where the first thing they did was you shaved your head. We're starting from scratch. It was very dehumanizing. We know this. But I think where we are now, it's almost like there's been a revolution of people celebrating the naturally textured hair, and that started in the late 2010s. Can you maybe touch on what that's been like for you to really celebrate your hair, especially from where you come from growing up?
So I think it was in 2011 when I just I decided to stop this whole relaxing story. The blow dry, the flat ironing, the swirl coats, and the swirling to the left, swirling to the right. I just got tired of this entire process. And I remember transitioning. So basically stopping the relaxing process and now letting the new virgin untouched hair just grow and do its thing. But I remember also being so afraid of cutting off the ends. Because now you would have this regrowth and the ends would be so dead straight and you would sit with two different textures. After 7 or 8 months, beautiful new growth and everything, but the ends were so dead straight. And then I relaxed it again.
So now everything that you've done, you basically have to start again.
Start again. Because there wasn't a lot of education about it. There wasn't any products really on the market like there is now. And that made it difficult. And no one was really speaking my language. No one was speaking on social media or on the internet about mincing and the swirl coats and the process that you had to suffer through to get your hair straight. And no one was really speaking my language, you know, and touching on the cultural nuances and associations that I knew to be true. And fast forward to that time, 2015, 2016, I decided I'm going to do this again. But it's because after I saw a very good friend of mine, she did her big chop. And I'm like, girl, in December before Christmas, you are doing a big chop. Who does a big chop?
That's when you grow your hair out.
Then, because Christmas is a very, you know, important day on our calendar for our hair. And I'm like, if you can do it, so can I. And, now, and I did the big chop and I thought, now looking back at it, it's like, now there's a little more products out there. And that it's a beautiful thing to see where people are actually taking notice of what the consumer wants, what people like myself, like yourself, what we really, really need. We don't need our hair to be straightened. We don't need products to straighten our hair. We just actually needed products to cater for the naturally textured hair.
And we also needed education.
Oh, a lot of education.
And more investment into that. Because I also come from an all-girls school. Our hair policy in 2016, mind you, was very much you could not change your hair color. Didn't matter what texture your hair was at that stage. It was very much privilege towards white people. And I think even then it was something that we'd raise quite often because it didn't make sense for me that a white person could dye their hair blonde, but you're naturally brunette. But someone who was black was not allowed to have an afro, which wasn't obstructing anyone's vision.
Correct.
It wasn't causing any inactivity in school. It was normal hair. And I think still today there's so much prejudice against that. I think, you also did a lot of research on your thesis on the consumer behavior of black women wearing textured hair. It really does speak to you trying to address the discrimination in marketing.
Correct.
If you look at it now, years on, where do you think we are in that process?
I think we are in a good space. Number one, like I said earlier on, brands, companies are actually listening to customers. So if you take now where we are 2024 versus 2010, there's so much products on the market. It is so segmented, just the natural textured hair, or what was previously known as the ethnic hair care lines. It's so segmented. You got hair care products for type A, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and for A, B, and C, 3A and B. So it's highly segmented over to almost to a point where consumers are overwhelmed. Ladies are overwhelmed, and this is where I kind of step in, and people are like, I don't know what products to buy, Simone. Where do I start? How do I do it? I literally have people calling me and saying, Simone, I'm in the store right now. What do I buy? How much should I actually?
You are an influencer. Without the social media, you're still an influencer.
What do I buy? Like, where do I start? And so that is the journey I walk with people and with ladies and ladies with their children. And also because of our diversity, our cultural makeup and our historical makeup of our population, especially this part of Cape Town, if you look at colonialism and slavery. And, how historical makeup. So you could have one family, same mom, same dad, 3 or 4 sisters, totally different.
I'm a testament to that.
There we
Absolutely.
Go. There we go.
And it's confusing because now you think your sister, are we all related?
Yeah.
Like, how did this change? And watching my sister trying to figure out her curl routine.
Ooh.
Instagram, thankfully, at this stage in life has been very helpful towards her.
Correct.
But it was very much trial and error.
Trial and error.
Because there's no handbook with that. I can go to the shop and buy shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
I know I've got dry hair.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
So you know what to do.
That's where it stops for me. Hers is like, no, but I've got this here and I've got that. It's a lot that goes into it.
So you could have literally maybe 2 or 3 different hair textures on your head. I've got 2 different hair textures on my head, but it's also trial and error. Now I know. And the beauty of it, once you know what works for you, you stick to it.
Yes. Don't change what's not broken.
Don't change it until your hair and your body speaks to you and say, girl, you need more protein. Girl, you are stressing. Okay, switch it up. Add a little moisture. Add a little extra protein. Give it a little more TLC. Then you do it. But once you get it, you get it.
And what I love about that is you say your friends call you, but you actually launched Chris Rocks in 2016.
That's right.
We had the honor of being involved last year.
Oh.
I cannot tell you the good words that I've heard from my colleagues who were there, friends who attended the event. The amount of energy you put into the event speaks through. But it only started with 50 people at a cafe in 2016.
You know what I'm saying. So
and look where you are now.
This is where we are. But it is also having a good community.
Yeah.
Being invested in it and having the pure intentions that actually the main thing with Chris Rocks is it was about to change. Initially, it was to cherish what we've been given. So cherish the hair that's on your head. Cherish your texture.
Yes.
Cherish your curl type. Cherish the color of your hair and all of its nuances and beauty and the stories that our hair tells, and the curls and the kinks and everything. Cherish that. Don't try and change it. And then I realized that actually it was the psyche.
That's deep though.
Because
that's deep within somebody and it's hard for someone to recognize that without someone else pointing it out.
There we go. There we go. So it had to be, the story had to change. How we speak about our hair. And that can flow into different areas. It's about how do we speak about our bodies? How do we speak about our skin color? How do we speak about where we come from? And that was one thing that needed to change. And so that is the aim of Cruise Rocks. And the vision behind Cruise Rocks is actually, I don't want any girl child to ever be told, go and fix your hair. I never want any child to be told, go and fix your hair, go and fix that. Because if we're saying that something needs fixing, you're actually inferring that something is broken.
Yeah.
And actually, there's nothing broken about this textured hair.
Yeah.
There's nothing broken about the color of my skin. But it is a systemic thing.
Absolutely.
And that needed changing.
And I think what I love about your movement is that it's evolved over the years. It's become more than just focusing on the hair. It's about focusing on the person.
That's right.
And I love that because you're instilling confidence in a lot of young women, and that's passing on to their kids as well. Have you seen any change in some of the people who came for the first one versus now?
Most definitely. And I think it's a journey that I walk with people. I know a lot of women say that, I've got women that has gone through a divorce, and they're like, and then I chopped off my hair, and that was the start of this new journey.
Yeah.
Or I changed my career, and with that, I changed my hair, and now I've done this, and I've empowered myself. I have a lady that said that it's because of you, Simone, that I actually went and studied, and I finished my BCom in education.
Lovely.
So it's that kind of journey that you see with people, and they have grown into themselves and they are confident without being conceited. Meaning I don't have to tear another woman down for me to feel good about myself.
Absolutely. Because I think that's happening all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more rare to find someone that's going to support you than it is to find someone that is going to support you.
And it's actually very boring to break someone else.
And it takes so much effort.
Yeah, just invest all of that energy and time in yourself so that you don't have to feel insecure about someone else being absolutely confident in who she is with her hair and where she's at in life.
Absolutely. And I think also with you, you inspired someone else to study. You're still encouraging me to continue studying. And we spoke before this, and you're doing your PhD at the moment in consumers marketing. And you're almost finished, hopefully.
Yes.
In the next few months.
But hopefully by this time next year, I would be done with my doctorate of commerce in marketing. It has been one hell of a journey that took me to Europe and back. So now it is, because it's a thesis by article, it's now just publishing. I have to publish 3.
Yes.
I'm halfway done. So we're almost there. And I think that is one of my life's journeys, especially because of where I come from, single mom. And really something that my grandmother just always prayed for us. And so I always say that I believe that are my grandmother's answered prayers. Because no one in our family has ever gone to high school. I was the first one. Finish high school.
Yeah.
I was the first one.
And now you're doing a PhD.
Now I'm doing a whole doctorate. It's just, so I really believe that I am my grandmother's answered prayers and really my ancestors' wildest dreams. I take that. Isn't
that so rewarding? Because I feel like in that journey, you must have also learned so much about yourself, because I'm sure that in your space, you're so used to talking to other people and inspiring them. How do you inspire yourself in that? Because you've come very far.
I have. I think I've got a good support structure. I've got amazing supervisors. I've got a beautiful, strong thesis coach, which I can just bounce things off. And she can just no, Simone, let's just get you back. But also that belief and the vision. And then as long as you hold on to the vision, you will get tired. You will get demotivated.
It's part of the process.
It is part of the process. And you have to trust that process, but also trust that where you are going. Trust where you're going. And then when the motivation is lacking, that's where the discipline comes in.
Yes.
So okay, I have to spend 2 hours a day on this thing. I have to spend 3 hours a day on this, writing this article, taking the feedback. I think the feedback is...
It's the hardest part. What is this? Elaborate more. Lacks context. Do you get used to that?
You get used to it. And then you read through the feedback, and then you go and drink some water, and you can take a walk, drink some coffee, and then Netflix and chill.
And then 5 hours later, let's
do it again, right? And then you've now consulted the thesis coach. I don't know what I did here. go through the feedback, and like you would have to, kill any elephant, you do it piece by piece. So you take it comment by comment, and at the end you will see, I've actually evolved.
Yeah.
I've actually evolved. What took me 12 hours, it's now taking me 5 hours.
Yeah. And I think with doing your doctorate now, you mentioned that you went to Europe, and I know you were in Germany for a bit as well. Out of curiosity, what was the most interesting part that you found with hair culture in Europe versus South Africa? Or is it universally the same?
I remember being in Paris and the girls over there. So Paris, there's so much Black immigrants.
Yes.
So from all over Africa in Paris, I was like, am I back home or am I in Paris? But they were just rocking their natural hair in all of its texture.
Yeah.
Like combed out, defined, non-defined, out there. They were just proudly rocking their natural hair. And that was for me like, girl, yes. Yes. No stress about, it needs to be gelled. I need edges. No, I need more definition.
Whatever it was there.
It was pooped out. It was up somewhere, the edges, rocking the edges. And that was for me like, that is Afro pride. That is being proud of your textured hair.
Yeah.
And I had to go all the way to Paris to see it. I was like, I'm back home in Africa because all my African girls are here. And they were just proud of wearing their natural textured hair in all of its shapes and forms.
I love that because I feel like, there's so much opportunity here to just be normal.
Yeah.
No filter.
No filter.
And I think maybe it's also because Cape Town is quite a cliquey city. Let's just talk Cape Town in general.
Okay.
But I think that sometimes we're surrounded by people who tend, what exactly what you're saying, to put us down.
Yeah.
And you must conform to the group's identity, not your own identity.
No.
For someone else in your position right now who's pursuing everything that they're doing, Chris Rocks is awesome.
Thank you.
What would you say to them to keep on going?
Write down your vision. Make it plain. Because if you're not going to write down your vision, then it's actually just a wishful thinking. So write down the vision. Add a time frame to it, have a plan in mind. And when you have those days where you are demotivated, where you don't feel like going on, when sometimes even discipline is far, go back to the vision.
Yeah.
Why? What is my why? What is my intention here? Why am I doing this? And then that you will remind yourself about that vision.
Yeah.
Once you have the vision for your life, how can break loose around you? The vision.
You've still got that in you.
You've got that vision.
It becomes a part of you.
It is you.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going. You know what you want out of life, irrespective of trials, challenges, all of those obstacles.
Gosh, I think that there's so much wisdom in you. And I love that because I feel like I am talking to someone who knows a lot, but also doesn't mind to share. And I really enjoyed this conversation. And I wish you all the best with your doctorate. May your articles be published.
Thank you.
I can't wait to read them and
so
continue doing what you're doing because your work doesn't go just beyond hair culture. I know you focus a lot about period poverty as well, which is a big part of you and giving back to the community.
Correct.
And I think you found your why.
Yeah, definitely.
So keep going. Thank you so much for being here, Simone. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Delucia. Thank you for having me part of this series and just inspiring youth, and you keep on going.
Thank you very much.